Hey everyone, it's Wagastar here. In this video I want to discuss a topic that I've been thinking about a lot lately, and that's how everyone compares Team Fortress 2 and Overwatch. How they either say that they're both the same thing, just look different, or how they say that Overwatch is going to kill TF2, or the other way around. Now for those of you who don't know, Team Fortress 2 is a multiplayer, first-person shooter made by Valve in 2007, a few years ago. There are many official and community-made maps, items, and game modes. It has 9 characters or classes that you can choose from any point in a game, and it has a comic art style, many cosmetic items, taunts, and unlockable weapons. Team Fortress 2 is also free to play. Overwatch is a first-person multiplayer shooter made by Blizzard Entertainment back in May of 2016, just a few weeks ago at the making of this video. As of yet, there isn't really a lot of community-created content that's in the game that I know of. It also has 21 heroes, which is just a fancy name for classes or characters. And you're only allowed to change classes when you're in the spawn room or while you're dead and waiting to respawn. Its art style is polished and shiny, and it's in a futuristic setting. There are skins and emotes which you can purchase, which are the equivalent of hats and taunts from Team Fortress 2, basically. Overwatch also comes with a higher starting price than TF2 at $40 instead of free to play. That's US dollars. Many people will say that they're both multiplayer shooters with classes that are basically the same, and just a different art style and budget for each one. But past being multiplayer shooters, they are pretty much totally different. Now, first off, I've been in Team Fortress 2 for about 3,000 hours now, so I've had a lot of time invested in the game. However, I only have about 20 to 30 hours in Overwatch, so I don't have as much time in that game. Now about the gameplay. This is a big point. Now, Team Fortress 2 has pretty much 2D gameplay, which means that people never really look up or down that much. It's pretty flat playing field. It is a 3D game, but people just don't really look up. Now, in Overwatch, there are heroes that can climb walls, fly, or go, just shooting around the map, which makes the gameplay a lot more three-dimensional, meaning that you have to look up and down and all around at the same time, instead of just the basic horizontal movements of Team Fortress 2. Another thing is that the round in Team Fortress 2 will most likely last at least 5 to 10 minutes. But I've been in rounds that have lasted for 3 to 4 hours before. This is a nice thing about Overwatch, is that it has a 5-minute time limit, which is extended for capturing objective points and for a few seconds in overtime. This means that if you get 10 minutes to play on the computer and no more, it's a much better idea to hop into a game of Overwatch than Team Fortress 2. Team Fortress 2 is a better game if you have around 30 minutes to an hour and you want to play a couple rounds. Team Fortress 2 is also a very goofy game. There's almost always someone doing something really stupid on every server. Almost never do you encounter a server where everybody's just actually trying to play the objective. In Overwatch, it's very competitive, and if people aren't playing the objective, that's most likely because they're newer, or they just don't know what's going on. Another thing is Team Fortress 2's art style. It makes it very clear who is who, meaning what team they're on and what class they're playing, and what weapons they're holding. So, in Overwatch, it doesn't make it quite so simple. You have to look at somebody and see the name tag above their head to tell what color they are. Team Fortress 2 allows you to pick what team you're on, red or blue. Overwatch assigns you to a team, and automatically your team color will always appear as blue to you. Enemies in Overwatch will always appear as red no matter what team you're on, and they will see you as red too, while they'll see themselves as blue. Team Fortress 2 bases its fighting on what weapon you're using as well, and know how you're using it. In Team Fortress 2, you have 3 weapons to use, and some classes have a slight variation on that number. You have to really tell what weapon you're using and how you're going to use it to your advantage. Most weapons have a couple different uses you can use them for, so you have to decide how you're going to do that. In Overwatch, you have abilities. You have 3 abilities, and they have cooldowns when you use them. And all classes have about 1 weapon, except for like 2 of them that have a secondary weapon, and everybody has a quick melee attack. Team Fortress 2 has 3 slots to add cosmetic items to your individual classes. Whether it be a real hat, or a shirt, or shoes, or an alien on your head, you can add it. This makes for some really unique and creative loadouts, which means you can define your friends by what they're wearing sometimes. Also, better players are most likely to have more expensive cosmetic items. It's just how you show how good you are at the game. Overwatch allows you to equip a skin onto any character, which is limited to how many they release, and no one can ever really have a unique character because they only release so many skins. Another thing is the community. Team Fortress 2 has been around for about 10 years now, and has a very large community around it. The ages vary from very young as like 8 or 10, and I've seen people like adults in their 40s or older. The fan art's pretty amazing sometimes, and the amount of YouTube content is ridiculous. It is an older game, so not many people watch it on Twitch. It's just not that new game that everybody likes. The community runs servers with custom game modes, mods, and crazy stuff, and the majority of hats are community made too, so there's a lot of involvement and input there. Overwatch is a bit more new, so it doesn't have quite the following of Team Fortress 2 yet. I'm sure it will though, soon. The ages seem to be a bit older. Youngest seems to be around 15, and I've only seen people around their early 20s at oldest. It seems to be that price range in the game just seems to appeal to people at that age. There's no like community content in the game yet, but there does seem to be a lot of artwork already, which is most likely just because the art style is more appealing to work with. Another thing is how much you can play the game and the skill limit. Team Fortress 2 has a high skill limit. As a pyro, you can air blast arrows that are on your screen for less than a fraction of a second, or rocket jumping a soldier across an entire map in a few seconds. You can do so many things with all the different weapons and all their different uses, that it just keeps it interesting and varied. You can keep playing TF2 for so long and still have things you haven't or cannot do. Overwatch seems to be more about where you are and who you are, and what your timing is, rather than knowing how to use your weapons in whatever situation you might find yourself in. I feel a little bit that Overwatch can get a bit tiring after a few hours of gameplay. I just don't like it that much. It gets a bit boring. Team Fortress 2 has got a lot of varied gameplay in it, and so you can be goofy and just be tired and goof off and don't worry about actually being good at the game, or you can, go actually play the game like it's supposed to be played. No matter what mood you're in or whatever you want to do, Team Fortress 2 seems to have something for it, while Overwatch seems to be a little bit more straight to the point, without as much varied stuff in it. Overall, I like Team Fortress 2 because it's goofy, and you can sit down and have fun with some friends for a while, and learn new skills if you want, or you can just goof off and get better at what you already know. I like Overwatch because it's a bit more competitive, and players are a bit more serious about winning, which there isn't always in Team Fortress 2. In both, you can either work as a team or try going solo, with mixed and varied success on each. I also feel that Overwatch's higher price range will keep it clean from some of the hacks and nonsense that plagues Team Fortress 2 so much. So, while I don't believe there is a direct comparison between the two, and I do not feel that the classes are identical and that they're all just the same thing, I will continue to play both games and hopefully make videos of each, but Team Fortress 2 is still my favorite. I've got so much invested in it, and I've seen that how fun it can be, and Overwatch just hasn't proven itself to me yet. But we'll see. I hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching. Let me know if you'd prefer some live commentary with gameplay, or more of this like commentary on topics over gameplay. I'll see you next time.